been flying around out in galaxies. You've been flying around out in stars. You've been flying around. Now I need to come down.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I'm okay. I'm okay. I didn't look. Did you ever fix my name in the credits, Ruben?
Yes. You got to look.
I did.
You got to see
I
it.
know. I always miss the beginning of it.
It's always about about the credits.
It is.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
Oh my gosh, right off the bat.
Yes.
That's what we were just talking about before we went live, that just about 4 hours ago now, I guess, we all found out that RBG died and we're devastated. And like Ruben, you were saying earlier, all over the place as far as the emotions go. But
yeah. And, and thanks for bringing that up, because we're like, well, how are we going to, of course we know how we're going to bring it up, but it comes right off the bat too. So, and we'd like to thank everybody for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour. We have Ashley Kammet today, botanist. We'll talk about stuff. Artist. We'll hear a song. So she's going to come out and play. Yeah. But like I said, yeah, we would like to thank everybody for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour, Feelings Friday. And it is time to unpack your feelings, because there's a lot to talk about today. Yeah, when that came across, on my phone, I was just like, what happened? And I wasn't, obviously, I mean, no one's expecting it, but yeah, my emotions went from sadness to, we got to fix this thing, we got to fight, we have to stand up, to back to, sadness again for her, because she was a beautiful person, and she'll be missed too. So
yeah, like I was saying, I initially, it's sad when someone that you admire and is very important to just our political landscape and our world, it's sad when someone like that passes. But I think the devastation for me immediately just went to all that she stood for. Yeah. And I think I quickly started to realize that I mean, with good reason, put a lot of power into her, because she's in the highest court in the United States. So it's like there's actual given power, and there's in these last 4 years, I think a lot of us have struggled with hope. And she is one of those figures that I will kind of keep in my mind, like, at least we got RBG, like almost superhuman. That's kind of how it started to feel. And so I just went to really, really upset, because, this has been a hard year for lots of reasons, for lots of different groups. And I think that as a woman who cares a lot about reproductive rights, who cares a lot about immigrant rights, who cares about LGBTQ, like all of these things feel very tied into this one person's passing. So yeah, I'm not as like dark as I was earlier, but it's hard.
You're hella dark, remember?
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
I couldn't even read the text because it was like just all in dark print. So I was like,
it was just a dark screen. Anyway, so we're glad that you guys are here, and as always, please feel free to drop us a comment and tell us how you're feeling, what's going on in your world. The thing about all of this cultural stuff and societal and political stuff is that we're all also living our lives with the normal ups and downs. So maybe you had a great day today. Maybe you found out like really great news. Maybe you're already struggling. But yeah, we'd love to hear what's your like word of the night, what you're feeling. And we're just glad that you're here. And I'm excited to talk to Ashley and introduce her to you guys.
My cousin. Stay safe.
Hi,
Hola, primo
Julie.
one. Yes. Julieta. So, yes. Yeah, and everybody, like I said, at least I'm not least, but it'd be great to say hi so we can know who's here and who we can talk to and who's returning and who's new, because it's always great to interact with you. And this is one of my favorite parts of doing the show is your interaction and your questions. It doesn't really matter what. It's like a wild card night tonight too. Ask anything you want, emote anything you want to feel. Like I said, it is a lot of stuff to unpack, right? Because we just got the news today. So we are gonna go to a song, but we're gonna pull Ashley in right now, and then we'll come back and we will let everybody relax. So sit back, relax, get your Cali cocktail out, and we'll play a song for you. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. But we'll pull Ash in.
Close your eyes. Get some rest.
Hello, Ash.
By your side. Lay your head on my
I'm drinking
chest.
tea and it's like scalding me every time I take a drink. Hurts so good.
I know.
I know you've had a really bad day.
Hi, Heather. Washington State.
Heather.
Right here, it's gonna be okay.
Heather, how is the air where you are? It's clearing up a little bit where we're at. So you're up in the Washington or Oregon. Hello.
It's gonna be okay. The sun could go out. We're gonna be okay. Before the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
I like your outfit. Unicorn.
Calm
My
your soul,
Thank you.
Oh, me?
my hand.
You're so mean.
Don't let go.
I love it
It's a little
too.
warm, but yeah.
Understand.
Oh yeah, you're probably gonna get hot.
So I have the air conditioning going, so
I know it hurts. It wasn't fair. It's over now.
This song's because of my hair, my one curl, or my performance curl.
I
I think it's having performance anxiety.
We're gonna be okay. My hair is gonna be okay.
By the way, hi Chris. I saw your comment just now, and
Be okay.
I think we need this. We all need a big collective hug. See, we're out there. Feel us out there.
yeah, I agree.
The world could fall down. It's gonna be okay. The sun could go out. We're gonna be okay. Before the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. Before the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Okay.
Song is perfect
88.1
for right now.
FM.
I know.
Zacatecas, California. We're here, and we have Chris, who has said,
This has been such a tough year. The news about RBG left me numb. Yeah. I actually totally lost it because
Yeah.
it almost felt like for me, election night 2016, which looking back in some ways, I'm embarrassed about how hard I took that. And a lot of it came from my own naivety of like being new to the realization that people suck in a lot of ways in our country. And there's so many things wrong. And I was one of those people who like had my like woke moment of like, oh, this is how other people feel all the time. But it reminded me of that with just the feeling of like, oh God, what's to come? And yeah, just feeling pretty dark. So
I forgot it is raining up north. So that's good.
oh good.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I also
Yeah.
saw someone say it's raining in El Dorado Hills, or it's supposed to, which was like Yay! Such good news. But anyway, we haven't really introduced Ashley. Hi, Ashley. Welcome. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
We're
Saludos,
so
everybody.
happy to have you.
Someone for Ashley. What's
Oh,
up?
what up, Sean?
Yeah. Hello,
Sean and I
Andrew.
went
How
to
you doing?
school
Welcome.
together a long
Welcome.
time ago.
Welcome.
Wait, you and Sean work together? Is that what you said?
We went to school together a long time ago. Took
Wow, okay.
our classes together. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And behind you, if I'm correct, you're in the Maya's nursery, or is this another room in the
I'm
house?
in, well, yeah, our bedroom nursery, and this is a little wildflower mural that I painted, half of it anyway. It's kind of hard to show it all off, but little hummingbird.
Oh my
Nice.
God. So cool.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you doing?
I'm doing all right considering all of this. I actually took a little trip to Pacifica today to have a little nice foresty walk by the beach, and it was beautiful. The air was
Nice.
wonderful, and it was much needed to get out of the house. So yeah,
You're like a nature
I need
dweller
it.
too.
I need it. It's I get pretty depressed if I am indoors for too long. So about every weekend I have to do something outside. It has to happen. So yeah, I've been trying to at least get out once a week, just to go somewhere. And I try to go somewhere different every time. I mean, that's usually my goal. I just kind of look up random, easy trail near me sort of thing, or easy trail 2 hours away from here. It doesn't matter, but somewhere that I can take Samaya is preferable. Somewhere that she can walk around and enjoy nature.
So it's
with
not
me,
like a
so.
super steep, rocky.
Yep. Can't do that anymore. But that probably won't happen for like many, many years. I cannot climb mountains or any of that. So everywhere I go has to be fairly flat and or stroller friendly. So
Yeah.
What's a close hike from here, or close walk?
well, I mean, actually right now, the YOLO bypass area, which is not very far away from here at all. It's just, the YOLO bypass in between here and Davis. Right now, around 7 o'clock, between 7 and 7:15, there are short-tailed bats that are flying out from under the bridge that all come streaming out, and you can see them flying out. I mean, by thousands and thousands and thousands of these bats, and they all come streaming out and fly out into the sunset. And we saw that yesterday evening, and it was amazing.
Are those the Mexican bats?
Yeah, Mexican bats. Yeah,
See,
I think
they're Mexican bats.
Purple bats.
Are
I should
they?
look.
Yeah. They have a.
I thought you were just being self-centered.
I'm all
No,
bats
they're.
are
I
Mexican.
mean, they're here right now.
Yeah.
But
That's cool.
it's incredible. And I mean, the YOLO bypass, it's really close, and it doesn't look like anything from the highway, but once you actually drive out there, it's pretty incredible. There's a lot of migratory birds that come here every year, and it's actually huge. You can drive out there for miles and miles and miles and get lost, and it's all a huge wetland. It's a big floodplain, so it's pretty cool. But besides that, I end up going out to the mountains like Wrights Lake and Union Valley Reservoir, and
Well, I think that a lot of people, especially this week, were needed the sun for 2 days, and enjoyed
right,
the fact. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you don't realize how much you need nature, even if it's just walking outside. After all this stuff that happened, so
just for a few minutes, or whatever it is. So
it's a good mental health cleanser, right? It's like gives you energy back.
Exactly.
It's like a mental health enema.
Nice.
Yes, exactly.
I can feel it right now. Yeah.
I'm telling Ruben that I literally cried on my walk earlier because I was so happy. It was like nice weather. It wasn't too hot. There was a little breeze. I was outside. I could smell the grass. I could see my neighbors' houses. And these aren't even people that I know. They're just houses that I'm used to walking by every day. And I haven't gone for a walk in a month. And it was just so nice. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. And I
Yeah.
forget about the YOLO bypass. When I first started school, I was a natural resources major when I went back to school as an adult. And we took a few trips out there for like birding or like
Right.
studying the ecology of the area. And I forgot about it. So that's cool. I think that's a great idea. And
It's in our backyard. I completely forgot about it too. I mean, for how many years I've lived in Sacramento, that is a huge wildlife area that is literally right there. And it's amazing. It's beautiful.
I saw a
and it's
squirrel there.
unique.
I saw a squirrel. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I saw a lot of pheasants
squirrel-
yesterday, which pheasants, I mean, yeah, pretty
Yes.
crazy. But also,
Oh, look at that.
vernal pools in Mather Field is also in the springtime. It's in Rancho Cordova. And
you know, I've heard
it's
of those, but I've never been to those either.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Also right in our backyard. So there's some.
This is why
there
we
are
need you
some
on our
cool
show, 'cause you
places.
have these,
There
like-
are some cool places in Sacramento. I swear.
You should. Well, you should. Give us a. You should have gave that so we can put it out there for everybody. I'm sure people will
Right.
like it.
Right.
Hi, Lynn. How you doing? Lynn is back
Hi,
on Friday.
Lynn.
Lynn has a show this Sunday at. Lynn, can you type that in where the show's at? It's an art show on Sunday. It's in
Another
West
show.
Sac. No, the other show got canceled because of the
It did.
moved. Yeah, because of the smoke. But this
Okay.
Sunday's up. She's nervous. She was, getting her stuff done, and then so she's ready.
Oh yeah.
Saludos.
You had a whole another week to prepare.
Yes. So
Welcome
hello.
everybody.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here. Please say hi if you're here. We'd love to hear how you're doing.
Yeah, and feel
Guys,
free to ask
all-
questions for Ashley. Questions about anything at all, especially on a night like tonight. As we say goodbye and good night to RGB.
RBG.
Yes, I knew it. It's dyslexia.
We knew who you meant though. We knew who you
Oh
meant.
gosh. One
So
day-
tonight,
make-
our
yeah.
original topic. I might have to put you down.
And which we're gonna have
does
still.
He does this thing where he eats my hair. He'll just go nom 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 on my hair. I've looked it up. It's an anxiety thing, but it's so annoying. Anyway, so
It's giving
our
you anxiety.
original topic. I know it gives me anxiety for his anxiety to lessen. But okay, so tonight we were thinking that I thought of this partly because you're our guest, and I thought that you could speak on this just from your perspective. But we thought it would be neat to talk about how you react or how you can respond when life doesn't go as planned, or when you take a non-traditional path, or essentially it's the way that life unfolds for pretty much all of us, I'd say, is that we have this idea of how it'll go, and we make these plans, and then God laughs, as they say, and then something else happens, and we turn left instead of right, and maybe at first it seems like really bad or like not the right thing, and often in retrospect we can see how maybe it was a gift or what we learned. So kind of like, yeah, how to respond or react when things don't go as planned, and make the most of it, and just what that experience is like. As always, I'm a huge fan of not just toxically acting like it's all good, because sometimes really shitty things happen. Like, I know we're all people who have lost our parents, and I know that there's probably gifts in those experiences. It sucks, like sucky, both, and it's not like, oh, it's this total gift. So yeah, so I would just love to hear if you're interested in sharing maybe like, a moment in your life when you experienced something completely unexpected and it changed the trajectory of your path, or maybe an obstacle that you faced that ended up, I want to say teaching you something, which veers into the like positivity no matter what, but just like what that was like. So yeah, is there anything that kind of stands out to you?
I mean, honestly, my whole life. There's so many things that have happened in my life, good and bad, that has steered me in different directions. Just to give a little bit of a background, I grew up in the middle of the woods. My parents were artists, and we lived in tents for the first year that we were up there. And then my stepdad built a shack, and we didn't have running water or a toilet until I was probably, I don't know, 8. Like my dad, yeah, it's weird, but my dad lived in the Bay Area, and he had a house, and we had a regular life on the weekends where we had a TV and we could experience all of that. But during the week in Sutter Creek, it was a disaster. I mean, my parents, my mom and my stepdad fought all the time, and it was crazy, and we were living in a very strange way. But I lived in the forest, so part of my my escape, even as a young child, was I'm going to go hike out into the wilderness. My mom and my stepdad are fighting. I'm going to go check out the plants, and I'm going to go hang out with my goat and my dog, and I'm going to go wander up into the forest. And from a young age, I kind of developed a way to just figure out how to still feel okay in very difficult circumstances. And even growing out of that, I appreciated all of it so much. And my brother and I, we would talk as adults and just say, you know, if it wasn't for that lifestyle, we wouldn't be the people that we are today. If we didn't have this weird upbringing, we wouldn't be the people that we are. And we appreciate each other. And so, you know, at certain times in my life, I'm happy for who I've become. And then there are other times where I feel like, you know, certain things in my life have hindered me from doing, you know, the things that I love. But yeah, as I grew up, I mean, these challenges never really stopped. I mean, I was in
What happened to Ash? What happened to the goat? I want to know.
Oh, she lived a long, happy life. I mean, she was 13 or 14. She was hilarious. Her name was Aries. I got her for my 13th birthday as a little baby. She was the cutest thing ever. And she used to roll down the hill for fun. And one day she broke her leg because she was rolling down this hill, and that was
As a goat does.
And so we had to take her to the vet. And you can imagine, I mean, we weren't like, you know, farm people. We had chickens and we had goats, but we didn't like have a trailer to like put the goat in when we had to take it to the vet. I had to go in my mom's Volvo and like go to the vet and get a cast, and you know.
But the goat got a cast?
She got a cast, yeah. She got a little cast, and yeah, she was great. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. And like I said, my parents were artists. My mom and my stepdad were artists. So I always grew up with this, you know, kind of frantic lifestyle, like living, you know, painting by painting, seeing if like anything would sell, and then we might have some money. And because of that, I always felt like I wanted a stable job. That was something that was very important to me. But I was naturally an artist, but I had to fight that because I knew that I wanted something stable in my mind. But it was interesting because when first,
I have some crazy artist stories about you, though.
I bet you do.
You just made them up on the
fly.
Oh, no. I didn't have to make them up.
About me.
Yeah. You know, I always tell people always tell me stuff like, you know, about them, and like, how did you know that stuff? I'm like, well, you did tell me, but you just don't remember.
Right. You just remember stuff. Most of us don't.
Yeah.
That is interesting, though.
Yeah.
So he says, the universe will have its way too powerful to master. The flaming lips. Well, there you go. Travis said, if it's unexpected, give it time to reveal its purpose. Respect and love the process.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Right.
Oh my God, Sam. That's an interesting perspective to take.
What's up, Sam?
Hi, Sam.
He's lurking.
We're glad to see you. We've missed you on social media. He's someone who left for a while and then came back. So I think it's interesting as you're talking about conflicting values, the artistic, like the creative side, and then the want for security. Because I think that those exist in a lot of us, and becoming aware of them helps us to kind of take responsibility for choices rather than feeling like, well, I guess I can't have it all, to realize, oh, I'm choosing this thing. So I'd love to hear, we're kind of skipping ahead a lot, but how do you juggle that now? And it's interesting because I feel like we're looking at you in this very artistic room.
Right.
You're obviously an artist.
Yeah,
but
I paint, I draw all the time. If I could do anything for, I could probably spend more hours or more time out of my life painting than anything else that I could choose. I love it. But I never, I feel like because of all the different paths that I've taken, I'm more of this like, jack of all trades, but like in a mediocre way. like I dabble in music, I dabble in art, I dabble in being a scientist because that's what I went to school for. But well, I don't want to say that I'm not necessarily like good at any of those things, but I don't feel like I have like fully sunk my teeth completely and lived my life to one specific aspect, because I think there's a little bit of like not trusting myself, or I don't know what it is. It's just I don't know.
What would it be like to choose one? Like, what do you think the difference would be for you if you actually, like, what is sinking your teeth fully? Because it's so interesting knowing you a little bit. Like, I know you're a very accomplished artist and at least, scientist. I don't know as much about the music, so I can't speak on that. But so what for you would mean actually like, okay, sinking my teeth in now?
I mean, for me, it's still this like in the back of my head, I want to be able to provide for my family and I want to have a secure home. And so for me, I still want to have that stable job that I also love. I still haven't found that at like almost 40. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm getting there. I'm working towards that. But I want stability because I feel like I've never really had it. So that's important to me. And I feel like the art will just always be there. I'm always going to do it. I'm going to keep painting.
Yeah, and it seems like you can be able to put that into your was it
Botany?
Botany, yes.
Right.
I was like botanical herbs.
I started working with like scientific illustration, and trying to go through that media a little bit, but I try to combine them as much as I possibly can. But yeah, as far as for me right now, I'm trying to get in a position where I can provide and not let other things get in my way, I suppose.
Well, I think that's part of why I love having you as a guest, because I feel like you're walking a path that many can relate to. And I know Ruben can speak to the like art aspect of this and the job. And I just think a few things. One is that I think you're on the path right now, almost 40. I think you're doing it. I think often we don't see where we're at. We're like, well, wait, it's supposed to look like this. But also, I remind myself of this a lot, that like, we don't have to make our art pay the bills, whatever that is. There's a reason that like, I'm a coach. I'm not pitching my writing for contract work because I don't want to make writing pay my bills. That's so dear to me. And when I say dear to me, I don't mean that if your art pays your bills, it's not dear to you. It's more that I don't want to like feel that article to article pressure you talk about your parents feeling with the painting to painting, where's the next paycheck coming from kind of thing. But yeah, what do you think, Ruben, as far as like,
what?
Oh, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say like, to get back to the original topic, I feel like even with like the painting and the art for me has always still been another mode of, some sort of like space that was my own and that I could feel better in. So, whatever was going on around, like whatever conflicts that I was having with, my relationships or things that were going on in my life, art was always the avenue that I chose to escape, and feel better about it. I mean, the way that I do art, I'm painting, flowers and like usually fairly pretty things. And it makes me, it brightens up my own, feelings. And so that was just, it's always just been like this other, place that I could go to. And yeah.
Well, I see that, like you said, when a place to go to, something to escape from, when you create, that's kind of like what I'd like to do too, is just go
Right.
somewhere and not really think about it. It's like a meditation, right? You just get
Right,
lost
it's a
and,
meditation. Right.
you make something, you get anxious, I'm like, okay, let's go do this. And, you never know what's going to come out. And, I've seen you, perform too,
Right.
and sing songs.
But those were
And
always
so-
dark. See, the music side was always the dark side.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So you're gonna sing a song for us today. That's where I'm getting at too.
I'm gonna, yeah, I'll put that out there.
So,
I can't
before
tell
we,
if you want to do this, right? We're not like
oh no,
pressuring.
it
I
doesn't
talked
matter.
to Ruben about it before. It'll,
Okay.
Yeah.
it
I didn't
actually,
hear about
Come
this.
on. You think I'm gonna pressure someone into do something they don't want to do?
I don't know, Ruben. I
I
mean,
feel it.
Stranger
You gotta
Things.
feel it.
this is
And like I said, we like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We like to say, have a minute of silence, right, for RGB. Did I say it right this time?
RBG.
Perfect. So, thank you very much for coming into our lives and doing everything you've done for us too. And I know that everybody have different feelings. And I know I talked to Melissa earlier today, and we're just kind of texting each other. And I was going all over the place too. So everybody out there, I don't even know what to say.
Well, we're all feeling it tonight for sure. And I'm going to read this quote that you put on the screen. I can't see the
Yeah.
top left, but I think it says, "Yet." Is that
Yeah.
the first word?
Yeah.
Yet what greater defeat could we suffer than to come to resemble the forces we oppose in their disrespect for human dignity? Notorious. So I just realized you did it. RGB.
No,
Which, no, I didn't notice it earlier, but we all,
Yeah.
RGB, RBG, Ruth Bader. I never know if it's Ginsburg or Ginsburg, but I love that quote. I think that that's interesting tonight too, because like the first things that came to my mind when this happened is like, fuck everyone. Like, I got really angry, weirdly, not at her, but just like at the fact that I thought the people that I despise in our administration were happy. And that's true. We've seen that since then. And so I bring that up, not because it felt good, but to say that I think that hate that I felt and that anger is the stuff that I despise in the other. And ultimately is really, as she said, like, I don't remember exactly how it was, but what a defeat to start demonstrating the same qualities that we're raging against. And also, I think it's okay to rage. I'm just going to say that. Like,
no, it is okay. And that's what I'm saying. We talked about just all these different feelings. I was like, we got to find something positive. And then next letter, I'm like, I don't know what I just said. You know what I mean? I was like, and I was back and I'm like, no, we got to go back. And so it does bring a lot of different emotions for everybody. And it's okay to feel everything you need to feel. And because, sooner you have to do it. You have to emote. And that's just the way life is. So throw something at you, like, I still have a lot of hope for 2020. I really do. I think that, we got to get everybody out there to vote. Everybody
Right.
that, women, minorities, everybody. I mean, because this is going to be
the Senate matters so much. Like,
Yeah.
the Senate matters more than the presidency. I don't know. They both matter. I want obviously the presidency to matter, but after tonight, which I just realized, I just put together that this topic perfectly fits with such a shitty day because yeah, this is totally unexpected and apparently shitty. And I'm not ready to be like, here's the silver lining. But I know that ultimately, like, this is life. This is how it happens. And I expected to have to worry about this on election day. Like, who's the next president going to be? Who gets to nominate the next Supreme Court justice? And instead, we have what we have. So,
but maybe, maybe in her death, people will realize, what we need to do. And maybe that's a battle call for us that we really need, instead of being complacent and like last time, like, oh, this is what's going to happen. Great. And it changed. Like everyone woke up surprised. Right. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll work it out and we'll continue on a good path.
What else I saw too that did give me some hope, just because it spoke to first of all, today is, Ash, if I remember correctly, you have Jewish heritage as well. And tonight is Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, when you let go of the old and embrace the new, like we all do on New Year. So I think it's very interesting that she passed today. And this writer that I follow was talking about, we all need to rage and grieve, and also recognize that, like, there are sometimes more powerful forces that can be transmitted after someone passes away. As in, she said it in this very beautiful way that, like, we don't know in what way RBG can aid all of us, not in an earthly body. And I don't always spend time in that sort of like mystical, but I love that thought, that idea that, okay, so from my eyes, kind of like with all of our parents having passed away, it sucks when the obvious earthly person who can make earthly Supreme Court decisions, or with our parents, like give actual hugs, it sucks when they're gone. And I remember when my mom died, I probably shared it on the show before, this guy that I didn't even know at a recovery meeting was like, when my mom died, my dad said something like, now your biggest supporter is on the other side. And he was actually really hopeful in that. Like, so the person who loves me most in the world is now helping me from somewhere else. And I don't know, that gives me a little bit of hope in a day like today, when it just feels like.
Yeah, it feels like someone punched you, right? Another, a spiritual backhand. Okay, wake up. It's time.
Right.
So, we have a quote from Vero, and that has to do with our topic of tonight. So, and it's long, so that means Melissa will have to read it.
Okay, yeah, this looks good. My kids moved out, and I found myself alone, sad, and dealing with this COVID-19 year. It spiraled me into an emotional funk and depression. I was dealing with anxiety and loneliness and empty nest syndrome. All this time, it's been just my kids and myself. I didn't really know anything else. Learning and listening to my needs, the things that make me happy, is definitely new. I see. Wow. And describing the empty nest it's like a tough, I feel like as soon as I had Tilly, Ashley, I don't know if you felt like this, but I was already like, oh my gosh, someday this isn't going to be my whole life. So it's like, you kind of know when your whole world changes, that someday it's going to not change back, because you're always a parent. But I guess I'm just acknowledging that's a really interesting and tough season no matter what. So I can definitely see how it would be compounded this year, and how beautiful that you're spending time figuring out what makes you happy. And just like, that's you, right? Apart from these little beings. So that's really beautiful.
So we are going to play a little something from one of our contributors, and that's I met her through Melissa, and her name's Emily. So it's a 1 minute. What I love about her is it's English humor, so it kind of throws everything
sideways.
Yeah, it throws everything sideways, because she has her own brand of humor. She has it's a podcast and a YouTube channel, and I am going tomorrow to try to put that YouTube channel up so people can be a subscriber, because she has some really cool stuff, really funny stuff. This one has to do with Christmas. It's only a minute long, but we're going to bring it up for you, and then we will come back, talk to Ashley, and she will perform her song tonight, right? So we will get there, and this is why this film. Sorry, let me get to this right here. A
He's
little
dreaming
slow.
of a drunk Christmas.
Yes, and here we go. Make sure we can hear it.
Did you know it's only 100 days till December 1st? This holiday season, Why This Film Podcast needs your help. For every week in December, we're going to be drinking our way through a different festive favorite. We're covering all the genres: horror, action, classic, children's, and never before seen. Which movies, you may ask? Well, that's down to you. Head to patreon.com/Why This Film Podcast to cast your vote now. It's never too early to be thinking about Christmas. This holiday season, I'm dreaming of a drunk Christmas.
You guys should totally go and vote. Do we have that link?
I can put it up too. Here it is right here for you. But so yeah, we always like to cleanse the palate, so to speak. So are you ready to perform your song?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, sure. I will
Oh, okay.
put my water up here. Okay.
I saw Ashley
Yeah.
perform a couple times.
I don't have
but
any
that-
microphones or anything. So
Oh no, that's
nothing
okay.
fancy.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Everybody,
We like
Ashley Kammet. I used to see her perform live, but there was more Jack and Cokes with that, or whiskey and Coke. I forgot what
A
it
lot
was.
more
Yes.
whiskey. Bourbon.
Back in the day.
Yes. Mm.
Fu-
Not anymore. I haven't had any
haven't gotten
alcohol in a very long time.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, the whole baby thing. I haven't. Yeah, I've been a sober mommy for this. Yeah, the whole time. So I don't know what's gonna happen if I have a drink. I'll have like one sip and be done.
We'll see you on the
Uh-oh.
news.
But this is Ashley Kammet. And yes.
Do you carry me like I carry you? Do you lie awake in the night just like I do? Wondering where you've been or how you're getting on. If the load on your back has lightened at all. Cause I know every day can be hard on your heart. And sometimes it's easier staying alone in the dark. You can't fall further down when you're already on the ground. No one's gonna hurt you when you've got nothing to lose. But you gotta keep your heart strong. Learn to let go when you have to move on, and you've got to learn to forgive and try to let the light in. And we have all been on different sides of the road. Some that fill us up with love, others that have taken their toll. But those dark days don't define us. It's how we choose to live our lives. And maybe if we fight together, we'll make it out just fine. 'Cause baby, I love you, and I need you. I love to see you smile, and I'll be there when the storm comes over you. I'll be there right by your side, but you gotta keep your heart strong. Learn to let go when you have to move on, and you've got to learn to forgive and try to let the light in.
Yay.
I like how my unicorn
Right.
like slowly covering my face. It was perfect.
I thought
By
that was
the end,
part of
it's
the
just,
that's part of the performance. I'm like, that is an awesome performance. That
I
was
have to say
something-
it was really cool because it's like a very moving song, and then it's being sung by a unicorn.
yes. which is part of the prophecy, by the way.
Right.
When
Oh,
you
yeah.
hear a
That's
song
like-
sung by
That was in the
unicorn,
Bible, right?
Right.
I love that. I feel like it was
Everything.
very appropriate for today too.
Yeah.
Right. It fits.
Our dark days don't define us. It's how we live, and learn to let the light in. I think it speaks, like what I heard, it speaks to how difficult it can be to keep your heart open. Because even though in some ways it sounds like, oh, it's so naive to be all loving and trusting, but it's like as you get older, it's like, unless you're just very unaware, it takes like a real dedication to remaining.
Right.
I just read that.
Right.
The sacred unicorn. Yes, I love that.
Unicorn. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes, like when you're depressed, I mean, and I felt it, like sometimes it's easier to just shut everything out and just say, forget it, I give up. And sometimes it's easier because it's like nobody can touch you anymore. If you're already there, nobody can hurt you any more than you've already been hurt. And letting yourself be open to anything again takes a lot of bravery. And it's important because, I mean, there's still a lot of beauty out there, and that's kind of, going back to the theme. It's like through everything that I've ever been through, I see so much positivity and love still everywhere. I mean, you guys, my friends, my family, I mean, there's just still so much beauty that outweighs anything that's ever been shitty, So, yeah.
May the goat be with you.
Yeah, the goat is definitely with me. Aries is their name.
Aries.
Yeah,
Aries, that's right.
Aries.
This is
You know,
something-
I
this was
love
up
that.
Aries.
That actually, that just hit home with me. I think that remembering all of the good, it's kind of holding the both and, like that we can be really disappointed or really like grieving or nervous about this year or our future or the health of our loved ones, whatever. And there's so many beautiful people. I was listening to the radio the other day, and this woman called into this host, and she was like, I just applied to try and live in Canada because I cannot believe there are so many stupid, racist, bigoted, like people in this country, and really saying things that I have totally thought, and I have looked into it, and it's like, they won't fucking take me. And he said something that I think is important, which is that he was like, you're not leaving. We are not leaving because we are not going to let that happen here. Whatever that is, that dystopian, dark, hopeless, fucked up future, there's too many of us. There's so many of us, like good, hopeful, raising wonderful kids that are smart and will change. And I always want to say, I'm not leaving it to our kids to change things. Like, we're fucking changing things now. And like, there's so much beauty. So that's a message I needed to hear. And yeah, thanks for playing your song and letting Ruben pressure you.
Great.
It was
Thanks,
actually the curl.
It was
The
Curl.
curl made me do it. Yes.
so convincing. So convincing.
Ashley, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was great. And like I said, I've seen Ashley perform different places, and it was always awesome. So yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for coming. Yeah. So and now it's time for the gotcha questions. You ready for this?
Yes.
Oh no, your questions first. Remember, you said you were gonna ask questions. Yes.
Wait, you're asking gotcha questions?
Yeah, because she said when we asked like something that's going to be controversial.
So whenever Ruben, anyone who's our guest, whenever Ruben says, "Is there anything I can't ask you about?" Don't tell him, because then he'll just try and ask you about it.
Yes.
I'm kidding. You're actually he's pretty good about respecting that. So I don't think he'll violate that tonight. But yeah, I can ask my questions now if you want.
So that time that we went out, you drank 3 Jackson Cokes that night. I had 4. Remember? We were Fox and Goose. Yeah, I was kidding. Answer questions, Melissa.
What time?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ashley, these are rapid fire questions. You don't have to think a lot, just like off the cuff, whatever comes to your mind. And that's like how we get to know you, getting to know all about you. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Ready.
Okay. So, vulnerability is
letting your heart be brave. I don't know.
Kind of what we just talked about, actually. Yeah. I love that. I love that you're like,
I know.
What answer is? I love that. It's like a great answer. It's like a great answer because it is a great answer. All right, next. Something that people often get wrong about you is
something that people often get wrong about me.
Yeah, like they think you're this way, but you're not, or
I guess maybe I can come off a little too strong-headed sometimes, and I don't really know. I try. I don't know.
Ashley,
I try pretty hard not to spend too much time thinking about how other people think about me. But I'm sure to some people, I probably come off as being, maybe a little stubborn and strong-willed, and I think that that's more because of things that I've had to do. Yeah.
So maybe it's like more of an early, you don't know someone well.
Maybe,
it's like
maybe people think that I might be a bitch, but really I'm just,
we don't cuss on this show, by the way.
Trying to
We don't
get
cuss on
through
this
the
show.
day, man. No. I don't know.
Probably people think you're a bitch, but this is your answer.
Oh yeah,
so
I like that. Yes.
I really don't know how people. I don't know how other people might see me.
Well, I don't want to say, but I kind of do.
What are you gonna say?
What do you got? What do you got?
What are you about to say right now?
No, I believe her.
Oh,
what?
That people.
That I don't really know how other people think about.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. I really don't. I'm not I don't spend too much time thinking about how other people think about me.
That is all I think about. What people think of you.
Maybe I should be cared about that. But I'm more concerned. I mean, I want to be there are things that I want people to perceive me as. I would like people to think that I am caring and compassionate, and maybe I don't put that out there as much as I would like to. Maybe people might think that I'm, somewhat cold, but because I'm not very communicative, maybe sometimes. But But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I love about this is you're making me realize that when we say something that people get wrong about me is what we're really answering, because none of us really know what people think of us. We think we know what they think of us. So it's like, we're really saying what, like, I love that you were like, what I want people to think is that I'm caring and compassionate because that's who I am. So it's just kind of, it shines a light on, it's a fun question because it's more about how we think of ourselves.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say that my family might think that I'm a little hot-headed, and I wish that they didn't feel that way, I guess. Or maybe I am that way. So they have a valid point. But yeah, I don't
Yeah, no, that was like a fun kind of meandering because it does make me think of it differently. Yeah. And ultimately, also, I'm sure Ruben and I could give you completely different impressions of what we think of you, because it's like, really, it's not us.
I do have something, even though this might seem a little, I would hope that, I think that there are some people out there that probably see me a little bit as being weak, in my decisions about like how I've gone through like different decisions in my life. And I would probably say to them, walk a fucking mile in my shoes. Sorry, not swearing.
We cussed again. Oh my God, we cussed again.
Ooh.
Yes.
But
We don't,
yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. There's probably some people out there that are like, man, the choices she makes are crazy, and why the hell would she have done that? But really, like, like we've said before, they brought me to the place that I am today, and now I'm a happy mommy, and I can't take anything back now.
And I just have to stop really fast and say, I'm so grateful that you and I had kids kind of near the same time, because it gave me this chance to get to know you. And I didn't know you well before that.
Yeah.
And so even just speaking of like unexpected circumstances, I'm grateful for that. And something else you just said just also reminds me of how different groups think of us in different ways. Because even, we all shared a restaurant. Like that group would think differently of me than my family. My family thinks differently than my neighbors.
I remember you guys hated each other then, right?
We never
hated each other.
This is the controversial part of the show. I mean, like, I got to get that in there.
I'm pretty sure that when Ashley hated other people, I was usually on Ashley's side.
Right. Probably.
We'll stop there. Okay, let's go back to our question. All right. So, last TV show that you binged and loved.
And loved. That's the key point. Sesame Street does not count.
Okay. I hate it.
I've been watching Adventure Time, which is something that Samaya can also watch. It's on Cartoon Network, and it's pretty fun. Also, Steven's Universe. But these are crazy cartoons that have interesting, introspective adult dialogue. So Samaya can watch them and be entertained by the pretty pictures, but they're also very interesting to watch as well, and fun. I mean, they're not, Adventure Time is like, guy's a hero and he's going out and, protecting all the princesses. So, but,
Yeah, which that also speaks to like what an involved mom you are. It's not like the shows that you're binging are like
now it's like, whatever she can also watch, I'm down. So I can no longer watch my crime crime stories and none of that. So
there's a good kid show called 90 Day Fiancé. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I actually
Maya would love that one.
I actually do watch that when Samaya's asleep.
I guess I knew it. See, everybody does.
That is one I haven't seen.
That's a guilty pleasure. We shouldn't be talking about that live.
Yeah.
We'll add that to the questions. What's your guilty pleasure show? Okay. One of your favorite movies.
Never Ending Story. Still to this day. Yeah.
Aww.
I'm a classic 80s girl. So yeah.
That movie's
Never
like
Ending
a warm
Story.
hug.
Yeah. Love it.
What's a concert that you'll never forget?
A concert I'll never forget. I went when I visited my brother in England. We went to the Glastonbury Festival, and it's this huge festival that it was wild. It was crazy, and I stayed up all night listening to the drummers. It was like hundreds of drummers, and I stayed up all night having really interesting conversations with total strangers that I couldn't see because it was nighttime and there was just fires going and lots of drums. So it wasn't even like a particular band, but it was pretty incredible. It was fun. And I really bonded with my brother that weekend. So that was pretty cool.
When was that? How long ago was that?
It was a long time ago. I was probably 20. This was the time I had a shaved head, and my mom made me wear a wig when I got on the airplane because she was so embarrassed.
Why was she embarrassed? Was she afraid you looked like a
Well, she did not appreciate the whole shaved head thing. No.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So what you're saying is if Samaya decides to shave her head someday, you're going to let her go on an airplane, no questions asked.
She could shave her head. She could do whatever she wants. Yeah.
She could shave her butt. I don't care.
I mean, most likely she'll end up being like a polar opposite of me and like turn into a mall girl. So, I'm just going to have to accept her in every way possible. But that one's going to be tough for me.
Oh my gosh. Earlier, Tilly is in the 97th percentile for her height. So she's pretty tall. And I'm fairly tall. And so is Michael. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope she plays volleyball. I would love for her to play volleyball. And then we were like, or, she could like, maybe she'll really like math, and we were listing all these like hobbies. And then I was like, or maybe she'll be a cheerleader. And I got all
yeah.
I felt bad, but it's hard.
It's possible.
It's all possible. And if I say I'm going to love her no matter what, I'm going to love her no matter what. So
she could do it. It'll be okay.
Okay. Next question for you is, what is your favorite meal?
My favorite what?
Could you hear me? There was some background noise.
I missed it.
What is your favorite meal?
Oh, they said meow.
Oh, I know.
It's a meow.
My favorite meal. God, I love food.
Hard to choose.
I suppose. I mean, I guess Mexican food, tacos, would be like my favorite if I like had to eat them every day. Like if I had to eat food every single day, like maybe a variety of,
But you don't have to eat it every day right now. It's like every other day.
Yeah, that and like I love food. Thai food, I could probably eat every day as well. I love food.
You like Thai food, Mexican food, any kind of food.
Italian food, Indian food, Vietnamese. I don't know. We could just keep going. Yeah, I love food. So I guess you know what? We'll stop. I like ice cream. I'll just
That's a good one.
Oh my God, those ice cream tacos. We'll just find a happy medium.
Ice cream tacos.
That's right. Those are good.
Yeah.
There we go. There's your last meal. Because I was going to say, if you're getting put to death, they say, all right, you can have one more meal, which I imagine that meal is so distraught that you don't even enjoy it.
Yeah,
but I always think, like, what would it be? Tacos.
Yeah, taco would actually be the right answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next question I have is, what's your favorite dessert? So I guess we kind of covered that, or do you have something more specific?
Ice cream, cookies. There's probably not a dessert in the world that I won't eat. A good peach pie with ice cream on top of it. Yeah.
No, we're all gonna have to order food now because now I'm getting hungry. Okay, next random question. Ruben, you doing okay over there?
No, great.
That's okay. Your next question, Ashley, is what do you think of Ruben?
Don't ask that question because you remember I have stories of you.
I like him a lot. He is wonderful.
He is awesome.
Okay, your real next question is, what's on your nightstand right now?
I don't have a nightstand.
Well, what's next to your bed then?
I have a dresser. There's my water from earlier today.
Ooh,
And
scandalous.
random baby clothes, and I think there's a mushroom poster that's rolled up into a corner. I haven't cleaned off that shelf in I don't even know how long. So it's
So,
pretty
so
random.
the mushroom poster is growing mushrooms on it.
No, it's a poster
Oh.
of mushrooms that have been illustrated. It's very
Oh,
pretty.
okay.
It's really nice.
Oh, nice.
Aww. Maybe
But-
this conversation will spawn you like putting it up somewhere, or maybe it'll sit there for 5 more years.
Right. Yeah, I probably should put it up somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
next question. A snapshot of an ordinary moment in your life that brings you great joy.
I mean, a snapshot, my little baby girl. I mean, that's the biggest joy ever, every day when I see her little face. Even just today when we were at the beach and she was throwing sand in my face, into my eyeballs, she was so cute while she was doing it.
Ouchie.
Yeah, I mean, that part of my life is definitely the best that I can think of.
I love that. That's unconditional love right there. It can be hurting you and you're like, I love you. All right, only 2 more questions. This one is, what is a song that gets you through the tough times?
I've got a few. There's some music by Tim Barry, which I love. He's got, I'm terrible with the names of songs, but there are quite a few tracks of his that bring me through some dark times. And Ani DeFranco was my go-to back in the day. So, and I know all the words to those. So I can sing my heart out to Ani DeFranco, but if I really want to get deep, it would probably be Tim Barry.
Nice.
There's some, yeah.
Okay, actually 2 more questions. What are you deeply grateful for right now?
I mean, again, I'm grateful that I have Samaya and I'm able to take care of her, and yeah, my family is amazing. So yeah, the love of my family and my friends and Samaya. That's all I really need. Yeah.
All right, last question. You're called to be really brave, but the fear is really real, and you feel it in the back of your throat. What is the first thing that you do?
If I was smoking, I'd be smoking a cigarette.
Open that cigarette pack.
I'd be smoking that cigarette. I mean, I guess it depends on what it is, but I usually am somebody that like sits with myself by myself, like when anything crazy happens, for a moment to try to like figure it out. And then I used to call my dad. My dad was my go-to, but that he is not around anymore, so that does not happen. And my mom is not really that person, so yeah, I sit with it, and maybe I'll knock on a neighbor door, one of my neighbors' doors.
Because your neighbors are like your best friends, if I remember
I
correctly.
hash it out. Yeah, my best friend Lindsay is somebody that I talk to a lot, but my friend Sharissa, who lives next door, is very she's really good at talking about things in like a calm, controlled manner, and not feeding into things too much. So she gives really good perspective. So even if it's like something crazy and I'm, pissed or upset about something, she's really good at not necessarily taking sides and just like, figuring out how to communicate things really well. So I'll take a walk with her and try to hash it out. Yeah.
I only met Sharissa a couple times, but she is such a zen, grounding energy that I remember that. I can totally, I'm jealous she lives next door to you because I can totally see where that would be.
Yeah.
See, and
Can
I
I
have
ask you
I have a total different experience with her.
Do you?
Yeah, she plays piano, and
Oh yeah, she does.
Didn't you
yes,
teach piano, if I remember
She
correctly?
plays piano. Mhm.
that's all.
And that's just, apparently that's
That
crazy.
offended me. That offended me, actually.
So okay, my last question on the heels of that question, even though your dad is gone, when you would call him and you were in desperate need of advice, what are some of the things he would say? Like, do you remember any advice he gave you that has stuck with you and sort of remained in your head?
I mean, my dad was very much he kind of had definitely this like positive attitude sort of guy. So he was always the person that was like super supportive no matter what was going on, and just always looked for any sort of positive that he could find. He wasn't somebody that would like, take you down with him, or or in my case, if there was anything that was going on with me, he would just hash it out really rationally. He was just that person that was just super rational and was able to just communicate it really well. And he was a happy-go-lucky guy. So he always was able to just bring it back. I mean, he was also somebody that like, he never built some sort of like crazy career that he, could, he used to say that he lived this ordinary life. Like he was this ordinary man living this ordinary life because he never, had this crazy career that he followed. In his mind, he never really did anything except really be himself. But he affected so many people around him by just being this jolly, friendly, loving person that anybody could go talk to. And he was my best friend. I talked to him every other day. Like he was definitely the person that I talked to constantly about everything. And he just had a really good head on his shoulders. And he was always like, as long as whatever you're doing, as long as it makes you happy. It didn't matter, if I never went to college. It didn't matter if I never found the job that I wanted to do. It didn't matter anything. As long as I was happy, that's all that mattered. And it was a relief because I had the opposite with my mom. My mom was always like, you have to, be this great person at everything. You have to go to a UC. You have to, get a master's. You have to go for a PhD. You have to do this, that, and the other. And my dad was always like, do what makes you happy. I mean, and if you want to quit, quit. If it's not making you happy, don't do it. And it was always a relief because he was always there and he was always on my side. So it was nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I feel like it's a meaningful message too, on the heels of when we were asking you earlier just about unexpected events and sort of how you have these different parts of your personality. And maybe, the exact big, this is the career I've chosen, this is the title, which so often changes anyway, but that's a whole other story. That you're like kind of shining example. It sounds like if one of the people that affected you the most profoundly was my favorite kind of person, because they remind those ordinary people remind the rest of us that like that is extraordinary to be that powerful force that he's being talked about years after he passed away and affecting the way you parent. And I love that.
Yeah, and like I said, it will be with you forever, right? Because he affected you that much, and Samaya is going to be the beneficiary of that.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I think so.
Yeah. Also, tiny aside, I think I've told you this before, but I didn't. So when you went back to school, when you went to UC, was it Santa Cruz? Was that where you went?
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you came back to the restaurant we work at.
Sorry.
you said something about the blue and gold program, and that was like the way that you could go to school basically for free if you keep your GPA a certain length. And anyway, I'd never heard of it. And I was back in school kind of like poking around trying to figure things out, and I went and asked my counselor about it. I got on the right track at American River College, and I ended up transferring to Davis on that program.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I didn't have to pay for my degree. I mean, like, so I'm honestly really grateful to you for that, because even though I didn't know you well, just hearing you talk about it, I was like, oh, maybe I should try that.
Well,
So
it was something that nobody talked about at junior college. Nobody said anything. And if you were over 24 with a certain GPA, your education was paid for.
and you make under 80 grand, if I remember correctly, which
Right,
all
and
of us did.
I had spent 10 plus years in junior college waiting this, because I couldn't afford school. And I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll be able to afford it. And then I found out that, yeah, it's blue and gold program. Anybody out there, if you want to go back to school, you can do it.
Totally. I mean, that's great information to have if anyone is thinking of that. And also, to me, I just like to shine lights on those moments that are seemingly innocuous. I think you were just like, I was like, so what'd you go to school for? Just some random small talk question while we're like pouring drinks. And it changed the course of my education and gave me something that I always wanted a degree. It was like an intrinsic goal of mine that was so important. And anyway, I guess I'm just reminding all of us that little moments that might not seem like very meaningful can change other people's lives. And it gets to the speaking about your dad and like maybe he wasn't an astronaut. Maybe, I'm not a whatever, big fancy whatever, but those are the moments that have ripple effects out into the world. And yeah, so that's why we asked you tonight, honestly, is because it's really nice to get together and just have like real conversations about unexpected moments, obstacles, and just how life unfolds in ways that maybe we don't plan. But like you didn't wait 10 years knowing you'd get your education paid for, I'm guessing, right? Like,
nope.
I didn't mean to be 27 or 28 and going back to school, but it ended up working out in some ways.
Right.
So,
yep. Yeah. And it's worked out now. And now I'm working, I'm working for a department that I admire and I love. And I'm finally doing something that, I've been going to school for forever, and it's panning out. So we
have to add one last thing about Ashley that I was just blown away by when I went to your place. And that is that I don't know what it looks like now that you've like baby proof, but you have plants everywhere. Your house is like this oasis. I was dreaming about it during the smoke, actually, because I was like, I bet Ashley's house smells really clean right now.
Well, not only plants, but aquariums and frogs and turtles. I mean,
it's so cool. It's very comforting. It's like it really does feel like I'm in a greenhouse.
Yeah.
No goats.
No goats.
Okay.
If I had a little bit of property, I would get fainting goats or something.
How do fainting goats survive? I don't get that.
I don't know, but they're so cute.
Yeah, I don't get how they survive. They don't survive in the wild because there's no way.
They can't. I mean, yeah.
Seems they just faint when they're scared?
Yes, they literally faint when they're scared.
Oh, that does not seem very adaptive.
No.
Here comes a wolf. Boom.
Yeah, play dead. Oh.
Yeah. Something's chewing on my leg. I'm thinking I'm pass out again. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, they're cute, but I was like,
kind of cool. That's like, I guess, numbing out when it's too much.
Right.
Well, I mean, but you can't even run.
Yeah.
Like,
no, they can't run. It's just,
So imagine they're like eating their grass, and then all of a sudden a wolf comes, and they turn around, and like, boom, they pass out. Yeah. Yeah. They don't try to run. It's like, So I don't know how they breed.
Yeah.
I mean, do they pass out when they breed?
What I love about you, Ruben, is we can have like this hour-long conversation, and there can just be like one tiny goat comment, but like you're like, go.
That's what I do.
It is. You listen for the small details that color the rest of our night.
Bringing it back.
Ruben, what are your gotcha questions?
Yeah. What's that?
What are your gotcha questions? This is where you.
Oh, that was it.
This is where
I don't. There's no gotcha questions today. I just wanted to be on alert just in case I told a story about what was it? Oh, a war story. But I'm not going to do that tonight.
Ruben, I don't want to scare you, but we have a lot of stories on you too. So
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
There's that.
Well, anyway, but thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. It was fun tonight. So, what's that? What? Hold on.
What they have the longhorns. I'm guessing he's talking about the fainting goats. They can
Yeah,
headbutt.
see?
But they'll pass out. Extra.
yeah.
Yeah. How do they Takeshi? How do they pass out if they have horns? I really am fascinated by the
You
fainting
don't,
goats. 'Cause
you
I was
don't want
like,
to have them land head first into the ground.
No, that wouldn't be very comfortable. Well, we all have something to Google now, you guys.
oh,
Yay.
you should because I saw him in Calistoga at the geyser, the baby geyser
Oh.
over there. Yeah.
Oh, it's pronounced geezer, actually.
Oh, the old geyser. Yeah.
But bum.
Oh, BS. What do you mean? What do you mean, Takeshi? BS? About
Do you
the
know that
goats?
person?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure we're not getting trolled again.
How we get trolled about baby goats? I mean, fainting goats. That would be
Well,
random.
People find ways to troll even the most beautiful content of ours. So even the most
So,
innocent.
Yes. So, and
Ashley,
like
thank you for coming out. We appreciate your presence, not only tonight, but also just your interactions in general and being out in the world, affecting it the way that you do. We're grateful for you.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you guys too, because you two are both amazing individuals, and I love listening. And if I can, keep Samaya's attention long enough, I love being a part of what you guys are doing.
Well, thank
Very
you.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do maybe some hand puppets or shadow puppets.
Right.
Yeah. Bring out some cats. Yeah. But we'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we will see you here next Friday. So stick around and not stick around, right? We gotta go.
Please hang out all week until next Friday.
Yeah. Just stay here. We'll be back. You may see me walking
Right
around
here.
the room. Yeah. But
Right,
thanks, Ash. Thank you for coming out. I mean,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah. Have a good night, and we will say good night to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Melissa. Good night,
night, David.
Ashley.
Good night, Ashley. Give Maya a big snuggle from all of us.
Good night, Chris. Chris is a big heart.
Aw, Sam's still here.
Sam is
It's
a
funny,
great
I
yoga.
always assume
Yeah.
people have left once they don't say anything, but it's nice to know that you guys are here.
Sam was lurking, remember?
That's right. He even said he was lurking.
And Sam is a great yoga teacher. So if you guys, I don't know where he teaches yoga at,
He
but
teaches at Soulfire, as far as I know. Sam would be a great guest if he ever wants to come on.
you hear that, Sam? Oh, good night, Charisse. I didn't know you're on there too. It's hard for us to see who's on there because we want to talk to everybody that's here, but sometimes it's hard. Charisse is also an awesome person too.
Good night, Therese. Thanks
So,
for joining
good
us.
night. Adios de Mexico, de Zacatecas, California, Sacramento. Sam says someday or Sunday.
Sunday.
Right.
Someday.
Oh, good night, everybody. Good night, Ash.
Take care of
Good
yourself.
night.
All right, bye.